my girl, Danni C. Danni C. Apparently, she had a Congress hearing, or she was a part of a Congress hearing, where she got an opportunity to speak amongst different Congress members and our people that are controlling what goes on in our government and the purse strings and all of that stuff. And she had an opportunity to speak amongst them. Let me switch over to YouTube Premium on this account. We're gonna get from there. And it's pretty interesting because if y'all can find and actually can share with me the entirety of her speech, I will include that and I will do it as a separate review video on the Anton Daniels channel and maybe even here on the Millionaire Morning Show. But my girl Danni C from Chicago, gorgeous, beautiful woman. Obviously, I had her on this platform before, and she's had an opportunity to speak at this hearing. Also, me and Danni C, we're actually doing something in Detroit together. Her, Chicago. I forgot what the name of the group is. Chicago Turns Red, Turning Chicago Red, Chicago Red. So me and her, and I am doing a full interview and an in-person event here in Detroit. I will let y'all know all about that next week. And so if y'all are in Detroit, then y'all can definitely come and kick it with us in person and come and sit with us and be able to talk. But she had an opportunity to go and speak in front of Congress, and this is what happens.
And Chicago's status as a sanctuary city coming under heavy criticism at a House hearing in Washington. A resident from Chicago unleashing on Democrats for embracing policies that she says don't have to face in their day-to-day lives.
I don't want anybody who crossed over here illegally unvetted. I don't want them in my community. The Democratic Party is so far from reality. They go in their gated communities. I don't see any of those people that's advocating to keep these people here. I don't see them in their house and their communities.
Talk about it, Danni. Talk about it, baby. So she over there and she said the same message, and she been advocating and doing the thing that's in Chicago's best interest, and she been fighting for the people. She been fighting for the people, and she fighting to turn Chicago red. I love it. I like it. Absolutely. And this is what I heard Jasmine Crockett responded to.
Joining us now is Fox News contributor Karl Rove. You can tell she feels all of that. She's not reading it. Jasmine Crockett, a congresswoman from Texas, had this to say, though.
My Republican colleagues are here using today to continue pushing this false narrative of sanctuary cities harboring criminals. Yet right here in D.C., we have a 34-count felon being harbored in the White House. The hypocrisy.
You see her nasty attitude? Do you see what she acts like towards American voters? Do you see how smug she is, and she's a public servant and getting paid to the people that's doing the thing that's best? She never addressed the issue. She's just a sassy, ashy, overly privileged, trying to act like Nunu from ATL, black woman in Congress that is being empowered by a bunch of other women. Look how nasty her attitude is.
Using today to continue pushing this false narrative of sanctuary cities harboring criminals. Yet right here in D.C., we have a 34-count felon being harbored in the White House. The hypocrisy coming from your side of the aisle over concerns regarding lawlessness is outrageous.
Ugly, evil, ugly. I'm honestly, ugh. And they just put more of a battery inside of her back. Just putting the battery inside of her back over and over and over and over again. I just can't, man. I just can't, bro. Aggravate me. Disgusting, evil. I don't like her, bro. I don't like anything about her. She is disrespectful towards the people that she no sympathy, no empathy. The people in Chicago have been suffering for a long time, and this is her disposition towards the people.
Your side of the aisle over concerns regarding lawlessness is outrageous.
I feel like the Democrats seem to be, especially Jasmine Crockett, are just talking about something totally separate from what the young woman was saying from Chicago.
Absolutely. Why we pay attention to Congresswoman Crockett is beyond me. I say that as a fellow Texan. Let's think about this.
Terrible.
In sanctuary cities, I think it was last year, 25,000 detainers were declined. What does that mean? That means ICE, the immigration people, had evidence of somebody who was in a jail in one of these cities who is here illegally, and they put they gave an order to the city saying, we want you to surrender that person to us when they're processed out of your jail. And in 25,000 instances in sanctuary cities, the city said, we are going to decline your detainer. We are not going to turn them over to you. In an additional 1,400 instances, they released somebody who was from their jail, whom they'd been given a detainer for and had not declined it, but ignored it. And so they released those people. So we're talking about 26,400 people who were in city jails, who were released, who are illegally here in this country, who were released by sanctuary city officials to go do perhaps something else that would cause them to be arrested. This is outrageous.
I believe that all of those Democrats and everybody that you see ignoring the issue, I think that they're compromised. There's no way that they're not compromised. There's no way that you, in your right mind, that you would allow for this to happen. I wouldn't allow it to happen. You know what it's the equivalent of? It's the equivalent for me of a normal person seeing somebody in the alley. Let's say it's a woman or a child or a grandmother, and she's being raped, she's being maimed, she's being absolutely just getting torn apart. You're walking past the alley, you see it happening, and you don't even call the police. You just act like it never happened. There's no way as a person, as a human being, that I am not going to at least be like, hey, man, what y'all doing down there? Leave her alone. There's no way as a human being that I'm not going to say, hey, I'm call the police immediately. It's no way as a human being that you can ignore the atrocities that is happening in real time. In real time. Those are, in my opinion, those are the most evil human beings that have the power to do something, that have the power to stop it with the stroke of a pen or an advocacy group, or to just go and help to change laws and bring visibility to the things that are really meaningful to the American people. And you see people suffering in your very own communities. You see people suffering in Chicago, and you choose to ignore it. You choose to ignore it. It's we are programmed as human beings. Now, we are conditioned later as we grow up through life, and we have, all of this trauma, and we see enough stuff, and it just becoming normalized, and we got PTSD, and we program through video games and music and reality. We program we adjust, and we then culturally change our lives and our mindsets to actually think that it's normal to do some of the worst things ever, and we turn a blind eye to things. But if it's right in front of your face, and you still act like it's not there, that means that you are absolutely compromised, and you are one of the most vile people that ever. Most vile people ever. It's hard for you to ignore that type of thing that happens in your community and act like it's not happening. They won't even speak on it. They tried their best to avoid anybody that was saying it during the last presidential election.
This is not being concerned about the public safety and the order and law and order in their cities, and in these sanctuary cities, 26,000 people. Now, where are they from?
Back on the street.
This is amazing to me. Half of them were in California, and the other.
I asked some of those protesters that was out. I might go hunt some down today for my birthday weekend. I asked some of those protesters. I said, why don't y'all acknowledge Lake and Riley? Why do y'all think it's okay for illegal migrants to come into this country, and even the ones that are criminals, to come over here and to do some of the most vile things, and y'all still don't advocate against it? You think it's okay for people to come over into this country, for us to have open borders? Silence. Most of these protesters out here is paid anyway. That's to be honest with you.
Big groups of them are Illinois, Virginia, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. The officials in these states are not concerned, particularly at the local level, which is where this happens, are not concerned with the safety of their people. They could easily say, we're going to participate in a program called 287G, which is the federal government will come in and train your people how, if they get a detaining order, how they're supposed to respond to it, and give them access to federal databases and federal information that would allow them to identify if a criminal they have taken into their possession is here illegally.
You mentioned those other states. I want to put up on the board for everyone to see the numbers there from those other states like Illinois, Virginia, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. New York and Minnesota are also up there. And Karl, in the remaining time we have, can you explain, is it possible, many of these are blue states, or maybe Virginia, you would say, is a purple state. Can this issue affect politics there on a wide enough scale that you would see some sort of changes, maybe even this year in New York as there's a gubernatorial race, or in 2026 in the midterms?
Well, it could be an issue, but look, this is not state officials. These are local officials. So the question is, in places like San Francisco or Richmond or New York City, are you going to have people standing up as the woman in Chicago did and saying to the city officials, are you really, truly concerned about the safety of our people? Are you concerned about law and order in our community? If so, participate with the federal government and get these people who are in our jails, who are in this country illegally. When they leave your jail, send them out of our country. Don't release them back into our community, perhaps to do another offense that causes them to be arrested locally and held in the local city jail.
Thank you, Ida B. Wells.
And one of those things that's important, though, is this: if you get state and locals to start to change, then you can affect policy change, which would be good, but that could also have a different effect as well federally.
Absolutely. But today we have an ability of local sheriffs to get involved in 287G, this program that gives them extra tools. What's interesting to me is that some counties and some cities do not allow their law enforcement personnel to engage with the federal government. That is willfully taking an act that says we're not going to do what we can do to protect the people in our community.
Looks like a pretty...
That's unfortunate. And again, I think that people like Jasmine Crockett, and listen, it don't matter if you Democrat or Republican. She just so happened to be a Democrat. Anybody that is that flippant and disregard the thing that the person is speaking towards and think that they are bigger than the system, or think that they're bigger than the people and the voters that actually got them in office, I think it's disgusting. If you a Republican, you a Democrat, but you just got this flippant attitude towards the people, when they're voicing their concerns to you and they did so much to get there in order to, have this conversation with you, it's disgusting. And I think that she got the worst attitude, so ugly, so flippant, so disrespectful. And, we gotta get her out. I might make it my personal business to try to get her up out of there, but that's just